2024, those balls are about $40. This basketball is about 10% cheaper than those basketballs, but that makes sense to me because it's supposed to be on the rubber end of that composite leather spectrum, meaning those basketballs are usually cheaper because rubber material is cheaper to make and maintain than composite leather material. So I would say because this composite leather basketball falls more on the rubber end of the spectrum, it makes sense to me that this ball would be about 10% cheaper than the average composite leather, middle of the road composite leather basketball in 2024. So I would say the price is completely understandable and it makes sense for this ball to be about $37. Now, because I'm kind of a cheapskate, I wish it was more towards the $30 level, but because of the high quality material and overall feel of the basketball, I understand it being, between $35 and $40. I'm completely fine with that. You take into account this is Spalding, one of the biggest basketball manufacturers in the world, and you also take into account it's one of their TF series basketballs. For it to be $37, I think is a perfectly reasonable price for this basketball in 2024. A few last points about this basketball. Just like with most composite leather basketballs, especially basketballs that are manufactured by the big names in the industry, because they're composite leather, they have to have this indentation right here for the barcode. And whenever you put this barcode on composite leather basketballs, this little panel right here is completely flat. There is no thing, and the material right here, it's like, it doesn't have that composite leather cover. It certainly doesn't have any tackiness to it. It's completely flat. So while this ball is completely brand new and this hasn't been broken in at all, your fingertip is always going to slide on here as the ball is completely new and not broken in. Especially if there's any moisture on the basketball from a sweat or rain or whatever. This right here, if your fingertips get on this barcode, it's going to be completely slippery. You're not going to have any control at all. That's not just for this basketball, it's for any composite leather basketball that needs to have this barcode. It's just one of the sort of downfalls of the industry. They haven't come up with a good way to be able to keep track of their basketballs without having this little patch of completely flat slipperiness on the basketball. The same kind of idea with the painting of the logos on the basketball. Whenever you paint over the cover, it always gets a little bit more slippery than the rest of the cover. So this is pretty tacky. This is a little more slippery in comparison to the rest of the cover, but I'm assuming that as the basketball gets broken in and the cover itself gets broken in and wore down a little bit, the painting on the logos will not be nearly as noticeable. The slipperiness of it will not be nearly as noticeable as it is being completely brand new. Lastly, I would say who this basketball is for is a player who loves Spalding style basketballs, but also kind of loves good quality grip channels, because that's essentially what this ball is. It's classic Spalding styles with vastly improved outdoor-esque grip channels and the rubber inseam inside the grip channels. That's what this basketball is. That's who it's for. You combine the good quality feeling of the composite leather cover on this basketball and its pep. You combine that with the super tacky inseams on the grip channels, and you have a great overall experience for a good quality holding, feeling, controlling in your hand kind of basketball experience that's supposed to lead to good, precise control.